Hello and welcome to a new episode on What Does This Data Say? I am Ajay Prakash. In today's episode, I am going to talk about how the Indian Air Force fooled Pakistan into believing that they had shot down Indian Air Force Rafales. During the military engagement between May 7th and May 10th, there have been many claims and counterclaims on either side, India and Pakistan, each one claiming how many aircraft it has shot down on the other side, while no confirmation is yet available officially from both India and Pakistan. Now, just as I'm making this episode, this news has come in through First Post that Pakistan didn't shoot down India's Rafale during Operation Sindoor. And this is confirmed by the CEO of Dassault. Dassault Aviation Chairman and CEO Eric Trappier has rejected reports that India lost a Rafale fighter during a recent military standoff with Pakistan during Operation Sindoor. French website Avion de Chasse quoted Trappier as saying that while one Rafale jet was lost due to a high altitude technical failure, no jets were lost during enemy engagement. The executive admitted that an incident involving one jet occurred at an altitude of over 12,000 meters during an extended training mission with no enemy involvement or hostile radar contact. Operation Sindoor, a military operation launched by India on May 7, 2025, targeting terrorist infrastructure within Pakistan and Pakistan occupied Kashmir. This response of India came in the wake of a terrorist attack in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir, in which 26 innocent civilians were gunned down. The operation involved precision strikes on nine identified terrorist camps in Pakistan and aimed to punish the perpetrators and planners of terror. Now, between India and Pakistan, there has been a lot of debate on social media that which side lost how much of equipment and men. And as far as I am concerned, that is quite immaterial. When one is in combat, losses are inevitable. Meanwhile, the Indonesian Air Force also held two seminars on India Pakistan War of May 2025 at its Air Force University. Indian Defense Attaché to Indonesia participated in one of those seminars, while the Pakistan Defense Attaché refused to attend either of those seminars. One of the speakers in these seminars was Piti Ansudia, and who is an Indonesian defense expert, and he had put up a couple of slides related to the losses suffered by Pakistan and India. Here is the first slide, which shows the losses to Pakistan, in which according to him, Pakistan lost nine combat aircraft, and there was multiple losses on the ground. For India, he says that India lost three Rafale fighters, one MiG 29, one Su 30, and very little damage was done on the ground. I'm not sure how much of these losses Pakistan has officially acknowledged, but as far as India is concerned, they have totally rejected these claims. I'm now going to show you a very small video clip of Air Vice Marshal Aurangzeb Ahmed, Deputy Chief of Staff Operation of the Pakistan Air Force. Now, in this clip, he talks about how they know about the losses that India suffers. I suggest you hear him very closely because there was a slip of tongue in what he was saying. I'll run this clip twice.
And that was a big challenge for us. That is why I said it has never happened before. These are the locations with the range bearing, electronic ID that we think that we are sure that we have shot. A MiG 29 was 8 miles from LOC, bearing 243 20 nautical miles from Srinagar. A Su 30 was shot 192 19 miles, 25 miles from LOC. We have the exact details because You cannot, in the modern battlefield, you cannot conjure up things out of imagination. You have an electronic ID. The aircraft gets picked up by his data link. As soon as you put on your radar, you and nobody can hide. Nobody. A Rafale was shot 54 miles from LSC in Srinagar. So you can have all these details. We have exact range bearings because and when you employ your weapon, you know exactly when the missile is getting active, when it is getting, and the blip is disappearing, which is very.
I'll repeat this clip once more. Listen to the words
And
very
that
carefully.
was a big challenge for us. That is why I said it has never happened before. These are the locations with the range bearing, electronic ID that we think that we are sure that we have shot. A MiG-29 was 8 miles from LOC, bearing 24320 nautical miles from Srinagar. A Su-30 was shot 192, 19 miles, 25 miles from LOC. We have the exact details because you cannot, in the modern battlefield, you cannot conjure up things out of imagination. You have an electronic ID. The aircraft gets picked up by his data link. As soon as you put on your radar, you and nobody can hide. Nobody. A Rafale was shot 54 miles from LSC in Srinagar. So you can have all these details. We have the exact range bearings because and when you employ your weapon, you know exactly when the missile is getting active, when it is getting, and the blip is disappearing, which is very.
So mark his words. He says these are the locations with the range bearings, electronic ID that we think, and then he goes on to quickly correct himself that we are sure that we took down these aircraft. Now, for the field marshal at his level, who claims to have shot down 6 enemy aircraft, out of which 3 are Rafales, just look at his tone of his voice, his body language, and how unsure he is of himself when he's making that presentation. And then towards the end, he again says electronic IDs, and the blip disappears from the radar screen. That's their proof of having shot down an Indian aircraft. On the other hand, just observe how our Air Marshal A.K. Bharti, when he talks, just look at his tone and his body language.
All right, I'm happy that you've asked this question. You know, we are in a combat scenario, and losses are a part of combat. The question that you must ask us, okay, and indeed that we must ask ourselves, you inclusive, is have we achieved our objectives? Have we achieved our objective of decimating that terrorist camp? And the answer is a thumping yes. And the results are for the whole world to see. As for the details, what could have been, how many numbers, which platform did we lose? You know, at this time, I would not like to comment on that because we are still in a combat situation. And if I comment on anything, it will only be advantage adversary. So we don't want to give him any advantage at this stage. All I can say is that we have achieved our objectives that we selected, and all our pilots are back home. Thank you.
It is now becoming quite evident that the Indian Air Force had used a large number of decoys in Operation Sindoor. A decoy is a person or an object that is used in order to trick somebody or something into doing what you want it to do. In this case, we wanted to trick Pakistan into believing that their radars are looking at our fighter jets, whereas in reality, they were only looking at our decoys. In this context, I'm going to discuss two decoys here. The first is the X Guard, which is on the Rafale fighter jet, and the second is a drone. The name of this drone is the Banshee decoy. We all know that Pakistan uses the Chinese supplied HQ-9 air defense systems. The neutralization of this HQ-9 system in Lahore by an Indian drone strike marked a key milestone in modern day warfare, demonstrating the effectiveness of unmanned systems against traditional air defense. So the key question here arises, are these Chinese made HQ-9 defense systems truly reliable? Well, I don't think so. If the air defense system cannot even defend itself against a drone attack, do you really think it would have been able to identify these modern day jets like the Rafale or the Sukhois or the Mirages? Now I'm going to show you a very short film which I have taken from the Rafael website, which shows the deployment of the X-Guard defense system on the Rafael. Now this is an optical fiber towed system and can be deployed whenever the pilot gets a threat from any air defense system. What it does is it extends beyond behind the aircraft to a few hundred meters and then creates a false impression of the aircraft itself. So the air defense missile then gets confused and shoots down the false image or the false system, which also has an electronic ID. And then the aircraft just proceeds safely. It has the option of then using their own missiles to knock out the enemy installations. After the event, the pilot can retract the system and it becomes totally reusable. Now, remember, this is what the Air Marshal of Pakistan had said about the electronic IDs. He had mentioned that they knew the electronic IDs and the blip had disappeared off the screen. Well, if India's Air Force was using the X-Guard system, both of this would have happened. The electronic IDs, which they believe they shot down, would have been false, and the blip, which vanishes off the screen, again, it came off the false electronic IDs. Now, lastly, I'll talk about the decoy drone called Banshee. This is a British drone, and the Indian Air Force had successfully used this Banshee Jet 80 plus decoy drone to deceive Pakistani air defense along the LOC during the recent Operation Sindoor. These are unmanned aerial vehicles and they deceive Pakistani systems into revealing their own location. This allowed the Indian Air Force to map installations without risking its fighter jets, a tactic confirmed by drone debris found in Pakistan. In addition, these drones, the Banshee drone, it can mimic the radar and heat signatures of various fighter jets, including the Su-30 MKI, the MiG-29, and thereby making it effective in deceiving enemy air defense systems. So the X-Guard and the Banshee drone system, Indian Air Force has with itself a very potent decoy system in place which is capable of deceiving the army radars. And that's what exactly would have happened during Operation Sindoor. We don't know exactly how many aircraft really went down, but the number being spread by Pakistan, I believe that a lot of that would have been incorrect because of Air Force using these decoys. So thank you for watching. I'll see you again in the next episode.